then and start up. You ready, Ann?
Yes, sir. You're on the
All right. Looks like in Warren County, we've got Miss Choate, which I think is a probation revocation motion. I don't know if you all are ready, feel like you're ready to go on that one. If you are, and we can do that one just so that we can get Warren County Jail out of the meeting there. Y'all might want to text Bonnie and see if they remember us. Can't imagine they've forgotten.
Yep.
All right, are you all ready to go with Ms. Choate?
I am. Check. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
I just saying I'm ready. If Commonwealth is ready.
I was checking on one thing real quick.
Warren County's on, yeah.
Okay, okay.
I'm still letting people, latecomers into the waiting room, so you just let me know when you're ready.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
All right, folks, if you're not on whatever hearing that we're doing, if you're not participating in that hearing, I need you to mute so that we don't get a bunch of ambient noise and other confusion. All right. What do you all think about Ms. Choate over there in Warren County? Are we ready to go with her?
Josh, on my docket, I've got a note that she's going to treatment. I was looking at my notes on Justware and I didn't see it in that.
She was the one who said she needed to talk to me before she got evaluated SSC or something. When I've talked to her, and she said she's willing to do the SSC evaluation and go to treatment wherever they send her.
My thought was that she'd already been assessed and they'd already recommended treatment, and that's what caused everything to bog down, was that she wasn't willing to, I guess, go with that without talking to an attorney first.
That's what it was. And go ahead, Judge. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I think that if that is the case, then it's just going to be a matter of telling someone at probation and parole that she's ready to get put on the list, and we'll do that. And then whenever I find out about it, we can do an order and she can go.
Okay. Yeah, that's what she's indicated to me when I spoke to her last week. She said she was now willing to go to treatment. So unless something's changed since I spoke to her last, but
Ms. Choate, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Is that still what you are wanting to do?
Yes, sir. I am willing to go. But I was wondering if maybe I can be out in the meantime and maybe report to U-Turn or something until I have a bed.
Well, we're not going to do it that way because you're reporting to probation and parole, first off.
Okay.
Second off, when I find out what your bed date is, I'll try to see if I can get you out a little bit early, but I'm not going to just have you out on an open-ended basis waiting to get a notification of a bed date, because that's not really, if somebody needs to go to residential treatment, they need to go to residential treatment. They don't need to just be out running around for a couple of weeks.
Well, okay. I was doing good for a long time and I just recently messed up.
I understand. I mean, I'm not griping at you. I'm just saying that if you've been assessed for treatment and they recommend that you go, then that's what we're going to do. But it's my job to try to arrange it in such a way that it has a possibility of success. And, if I just let you out and have you, hanging around waiting for your bed date, I mean, that's why you are in jail right now, is because you were out and things didn't go so well and you had to,
I'm sorry.
Get back up.
Last time I was out and I had a bed date, I showed up and I went and I completed it.
I understand, but I'm not going to do that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I don't know if anybody from probation and parole's paying real close attention, but I think Officer Alexander is the one that sent me this. This, yeah. So
Yes,
Jason,
sir.
we need
Yes,
to make
sir.
sure that she's put on the list. Okay.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I'll put her on here in a few minutes.
All right. Super. Thank you. We'll get
Yes,
an
sir.
order done that just amends the terms of probation in lieu of revocation. And then after we get a bed date, I'll do an order to take care of that. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'll take care of it.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Do you know about how long it may be before I get a bed date?
I don't know. Honestly, most of the time it's within a week, especially, the way things
It's not,
have been going, but I don't know for sure.
it's not very long, Your Honor. It's usually no more than a week, usually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just put somebody on just the other day and I already got notice this morning that her bed date is tomorrow or whatever. So, I mean, that was 4 business days or something. So,
So,
Yes, sir.
would you consider, when, I do have a bed date, maybe let me out 24 hours to spend with my husband before I have to go?
it's all gonna depend on how much notice I get about when your bed date is.
Okay.
Sometimes, I get something at 4:00 in the afternoon and they say she's got to be there at 9:00 tomorrow morning. Sometimes I get something on one day and they say she's got to be there in 3 days, whatever. So, we'll do the best we can, but I can't make any promises to you about how much time you'll be out.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay?
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good luck, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Does anybody have another one that they are ready for me to call?
You could call Jacob Copus, Judge. We have it resolved.
Okay.
I'm going to withdraw the motion.
All right.
I spoke with his current probation officer and he's doing well. And at this time, I don't think that we need to go through with the hearing since he's doing well.
And he's here at the office now, Judge. I'll let him know.
All right. Okay. So Mr. Bell, he's yours.
Yes, sir.
All right. So basically he's going to remain on pretrial diversion and the motion's going to be withdrawn and that's all that we need to talk about.
That's
Yes, sir.
correct.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have another quick one to resolve would be Josh Bradley.
Okay.
He's in custody.
Yeah. Joshua Bradley.
Your Honor, I've spoken with Ms. Myers, his attorney. We've reached a resolution in lieu of revoking his probation. He's going to enter drug court. Candy's already assessed him and he's acceptable.
Okay. Mr. Bradley, is that agreeable with you?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see here. Ms. Gardner, as far as you're concerned, is that ready to start immediately?
Yes.
All right. So did Candy tell you what arrangements that she needed to get, that we need to give him about getting in touch with her, or is he just supposed to call her or text her when he gets out?
She did not. I believe Bonnie has Candy's cell phone number. If he could just contact her immediately when he's released.
All right. So, Mr. Bradley, can you turn around there and ask, or if Bonnie can hear me, I assume she can, if she's got Miss Reed's number so that we.
I do, Judge.
She said yes.
Yeah, good deal. All right. So, Bonnie, if you don't mind to give him that, Mr. Bradley, you're going to be released today, and I'll need you to make contact with her by the end of the day, okay? We're going to send her a text and let her know that you're going to be calling her, okay? Or texting her, however you get in touch with her, okay?
Yes, sir.
And Judge, I just wanted to make sure the number that Bonnie had was Candy's cell phone number and not that drug court Google number.
It is, it's her cell phone, Risa.
Okay, thanks, Bonnie.
Good deal. All right.
Do you want us to continue with the drug testing for bond? We have an order for that, but not sure where we,
That's a district court order.
district court? Okay, gotcha, thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mr. Bradley, you are going to be released as far as these two cases are concerned. Do you all know? I mean, he doesn't have a hold out of district court, does he?
No, he doesn't. It's unsecured.
All right, good deal. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, if I'm saying that he's getting out, I want to make sure he's getting out. I didn't want there to be something we didn't know about. All right, Mr. Bradley, good luck, and we'll be talking to you. Just get in touch with her and do what she's telling you, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Judge, real quick, is Johnny London in custody?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I don't see him on this, but Miss Nance with the Child Support Office is here. And, oh, he's right there. Okay, I can recall the case. If you want, I didn't know that he was there.
I was having a little technical trouble.
I got you. He's life skills, right?
Yeah, I can let someone else go, Judge, and we'll just wait a couple minutes if that's all right.
All right, very good.
Fine now, so you need back, and I can't be included in this at all. So.
All right.
Judge, one that I can resolve quickly is Brooklyn Flickner.
Yes, sir.
We've agreed to a 30-day sanction in lieu of revocation.
Yes, sir. Flickner, is that you?
Yes, sir.
I can't,
Yes, sir.
yeah, all right, I had it on the gallery view and there's so many people on here, the pictures were tiny. Had to get you zoomed in. All right. Is that what you've agreed to, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gardner, are you expecting, or was it your contemplation that would be retroactive to the date of arrest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. I believe that was January 14th, but I'm not sure.
Yes, sir.
Any different information? Is that what you think too?
That sounds right.
January
Yeah.
14.
Yeah, all right. Okay, listen, you know, there for a while, things back prior to you entering your plea, you know, you had done real well.
Yeah, I know.
You know, you've got it in you. It's just a question of whether you're going to do it or not. But you know, just because you're getting a sanction this time doesn't mean that's what will happen the next time. So you need to be sure to take advantage of this opportunity. You with me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. When you get out, you'll need to.
Will it be Friday?
I'm sorry.
It'll be Friday.
That sounds close. I can't promise you that because I haven't added the days up, but I mean, it'll be 30 days from January 14th.
Okay, yeah, because I'm 27 days in today, so it should be Friday.
You need to make contact with your probation officer the day you get out, okay?
Yes, sir.
Or your pretrial diversion supervising officer, however you want to put it.
Yes,
It's
sir.
me, Your Honor. She has my cell phone number, so I'll be looking for a phone call.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Real quickly as well, I see Mr. Justin Hammer on here. I've had communication with his probation officer. He's reporting as directed, and we're going to withdraw the motion at this time.
Okay.
Hey, Judge.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm living a sober living in Bowling Green with a full-time job. Everything's going good. I'm reporting like I'm supposed to. I'm sorry for the hiccups I had.
I understand. Listen, the important thing right now is that we keep moving in the right direction, okay?
Yes, sir. I'm still in sober living, doing good.
All right. And you're in contact with your probation officer, correct?
Yes, sir. I spoke with her this morning.
All right. Just keep doing that. Stay in contact with them, report when they tell you, and we'll be all right, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're free to go then. Thanks.
Thank you.
Judge, if we could call up Danya Pipkin. Mr. Bell and I had talked about his case, and Johnny, I don't know if you need to tell him what we talked about and see if we can resolve it.
Could you put us in a breakout room, Judge? Is that possible, or we got too many to break out?
We probably don't have too many to break out, but we're hampered by the inherent limitations of the meeting coordinator, which is me.
Yes, sir. Well, could I call a number over there and talk to him right quick about resolving this case?
Call Mike?
No, call Mr. Pipkin.
Oh, yeah, I think the Bonnie will let you call down there. We'll find out what number you need to call.
Just call the regular jail phone number, the 8806.
All right, we'll call it right now. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Yeah, we'll just come back to you then, okay?
Judge, we do have a
we're
resolution.
no longer on that case.
Do what?
I assume Josh no longer represents him on that case.
That is correct.
Yeah, I guess that's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Judge, we have a resolution in Colin Wheat's case. I just now filed it, but I did email you. It's a pretrial diversion that we're doing. It'll need to be assessed and meet with the SSC and all that stuff. Did you get that email?
I believe I did. I hadn't had the chance to look at it because I think it came in while we were talking. But yeah, it's right here.
Okay. I had filed a motion to revoke bond, but obviously this will take care of that issue.
I'm going to forward it in there to KP so she can print it for me and bring it in here. Okay. Why don't we do something else while that's printing, and then we'll come back to it, okay?
Okay.
Can we go ahead and do Johnny London?
Yes. All right, Ms. Gardner, this is the Commonwealth's motion, correct?
It is, Judge. I have Miss Nance to testify.
All right, Ms. Nance, do you want to?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, would you like to, there you are. Would you like to raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm that your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Gardner, you may ask her.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Miss Nance here at the Barron County Child Support Office.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are the caseworker in the child support action involving Johnny London.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Is he current on both his current child support payments and his arrearage payments?
He is not.
Could you please inform the court when his last payment was and how far he's currently behind on both?
The last payment that he made was on November 28th of 2020 for $48.62. Mr. London should have paid from January 1st of 2020 to January 31st of 2021 an amount of $2,965.82. Excuse me. That period is $606.90.
I don't know if Judge, you heard that, but I could not hear that last part. Miss Nancy cut out.
he should have paid for the time period of January 1st, 2020 to January 31st of 2020. He should have paid $2,965.82. The amount that he did pay was $660.92 for that time period.
Do you have any current wage assignments in place for him?
I do not.
I have no further questions, Judge.
Mr. Berry, do you have any cross?
I just had one question. What did you say you did pay during that time frame you laid out?
He has paid $660.92 from January 1st, 2020 to January 31st.
Of 2021?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, do you know, has he been working during that time or do you know?
I am unaware. He did call me last week, I believe, and asked me to send another wage assignment to People Ready. And that's actually the second time that I've sent it, and we still have not received anything from them.
Is that a temporary service?
I believe it is.
Is it in Bowling Green?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that I don't have any more questions, Judge.
All right, Ms. Gardner, do you have any additional questions?
I do not.
All right. Ms. Nance, I have a question or two, if you might bear with me.
Yes, sir.
The first thing I want to ask is that since we were here in, it was probably October, right? So maybe the middle of October, making it roughly 4 months ago. Can you give me an update as to just what has been paid in that 4 months?
From October 16th up until today, he has paid a total of $98.50.
Okay. My next question would be regarding the order that I entered back at that time that he among other things, maintained a wage assignment. Have you had, I understand what you said about you sending a wage assignment to a temporary location. Have you attempted to get any information from him that he's not provided for you in terms of wage assignments? In other words, have you asked him for information and he's been uncooperative?
He is actually the one that reached out to me last week asking me to send a wage assignment to People Ready, which I had already done at the end of January. And I did resend it and we still haven't received anything.
I got you. And the last thing, and I think I know the answer to this, but since you're on here and you're a witness, I wouldn't want to leave it unasked, but do you have any knowledge of any of the other things that, when I told him to go to vocational rehab and cooperate with that, do you have any knowledge one way or the other about what's happened there?
I do not. He hasn't mentioned anything other than the temp agency job at People Ready.
I got you. Okay. That's all the questions that I want to ask this witness. I don't know if either of you have anything else you want to ask her.
I don't, Judge.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. I guess you might stick around till we get done with this hearing, but I don't think that we'll need you after that, as far as I know. Ms. Gardner, do you have any other proof?
Yes, sir.
I do not have any other proof. I did file yesterday a supplement from the probation officer, and his current violation is just the non-payment of child support. I think that he's doing everything else that has been requested of him, but the child support is the only issue. That's why I didn't have a probation officer on here.
Understand. And listen, that report has not made it into the file and your supplement hadn't made it into the file. So I don't know what it really says. I don't know. You may be able to somebody may be able to get online and pull that sucker up and let me look at it. But other than that, it's not. I remember getting the VSR or whatever from probation and parole. And I remember it pointing out that he was, had not paid his or the allegation was that he had not paid child support as ordered. And I didn't remember if there was anything else in it. Mr. Barry, are you going to put on any proof, sir?
Yes, Judge, I'm gonna call Mr. London.
All right, Mr. London, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Barry.
All right. Johnny, what, are you working anywhere right now?
Yeah, I'm working at People Ready. This started about 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I've been,
where do they have you working?
they've got me working at Scott's Waste.
Okay.
Here at Bowling Green.
How much are you earning with them?
It's $9 an hour.
Okay.
It could be from 12 to 8 to 10 hours a day. It just depends on, depending on whatever time the route is done and how long it takes.
Okay. This, I think at the last hearing we had on this case, you talked about you were going to the voc rehab place or were planning.
Yep.
What happened with that?
They're still working on it. We're gonna put some applications in this week to find a little bit more permanent.
Wait a minute, who's working on it?
What do you call them? My employment's through vocational rehabilitation.
Okay. Well, that, I guess that's what I'm asking you. Are you going to something for vocational rehabilitation now? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where was that?
Through Life Skills.
Okay. Okay. When you say vocational rehabilitation, does that mean they're just trying to help you find a job, or is it?
Yeah, it's a program through Life Skills that they help you find permanent work.
Okay.
And let me mention this. I've also been mailing out money orders. I mailed out some money orders when I of the times that I missed working, and I'm going to try to continue trying to catch up on some of the arrearage and also some of the child support, trying to maybe a couple times a week, if not more.
Before the Scott Waste job, where did you work?
I was working through Express.
Okay, where?
Bluegrass Living.
Okay. When was that? When did you work for Bluegrass Living?
I think right after the last court time, I lost that job after court for some reason. They said I was not working fast enough, and that just kind of just blow the top out of everything. And it took me a while to where I could get my Social Security card to where I could get this job, and they pay you every day. So that way I can, if I get off of work at 5 o'clock that evening, get my money on a card in about 2 hours, and I got a money order. And
what about the wage assignment? Who did that go to Waste or to People Ready?
I'm not really sure about that.
Who pays you?
Mention that to them the next time I talk to them.
Who pays you?
People Ready. It's through People Ready.
Okay. So they'd handle the wage assignment then?
Yeah, that's the company that handles all the financial assignments.
Okay. Have they said anything to you about they got the information or the request from child support to start doing a wage assignment?
I haven't talked to them about that yet, but I will mention that to them sometime whenever you want me to, whenever it's a good time to do that.
Okay. Okay, that's all the questions I have, Judge.
Mr. Gardner?
I don't have any questions for him, Judge.
Mr. London, when did you start at Scott Waste?
About 2 weeks ago, about 2-3 weeks. Yeah,
And you get paid how often?
every day.
All right. I mean, you understand that the testimony is that none of the, that the Child Support Office has not received any money from Scott Waste pursuant to the wage assignment that supposedly went into effect 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I don't know if they take it out and collect it and pay it every week, or they pay her so much from every day that I work that I'm paid, or they just wait to collect it for that week. But here pretty soon, it should be paying some of it, you know.
You also testified that you've been sending money orders, but according to the probation office, the last payment that was made in this case, as of the time that the violation report was filed, was in November of 2020. Are you telling me that you think you've paid something since then?
Yeah, I have. I've got a receipt right here.
All right. What's the date on it?
Is there a date on that? This money order don't have no date on it. Is that a date? I don't see no date. It's been a few days ago.
What are you doing in Voc Rehab that, because I know you were seeing them, or you were doing that all the way back in October. I mean, what are we doing 4 months later that hadn't helped you lead to a permanent job?
Well, they're still working on trying to help me find something more permanent. I'm going to keep this job until I can find something more permanent through them.
Well, I understand that, but I guess what I want to know is, what are you doing? Just looking for jobs, or are they training you to do something specific, or are they working with you on a regular basis to, to get good interviews, or what exactly is happening?
It's just sometimes if I go in and they don't need me, I'll call them or something, and they got another job or another project, I could go to, because I have went a few times and there was nobody. They said they had a full crew, so I'd have to call them, and then sometimes they ain't got nothing, and I just keep trying until I find something.
No, I'm asking you what they're doing with you at Voc Rehab.
At Voc Rehab, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mainly talking to employers, working on some applications.
Because here, let me tell you what the situation is. All right. I mean, since 2018, this has been a constant struggle. And you heard the testimony. It is not that you have just never paid any child support, because that's not true. The issue is that you have not paid the way that you are ordered to pay child support. Yeah. I don't think there's any dispute about that. I mean, I don't think you all are disputing it. It would be almost nuts to dispute it, because it's pretty clear, right? So from my standpoint, what I have to do is, do I have to decide if you're just doing that because you're ornery, or are you doing it, are you doing the best you can? And at the present time, you just hadn't been able to, to get up to a full-time gig. And that does happen sometimes. I mean, sometimes people, have certain things going on that they can't get there, and I know you've had issues with transportation, and I understand, a lot of factors here. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to figure out, when I saw you 4 months ago, I wanted you to pay, the child support that you owed, which you have not done. I wanted you to make your arrearage payments, which you have not done. I wanted you to go to Voc Rehab and stay in that until, you were able to obtain and maintain full-time employment. And I think that, I don't have any reason to believe you have not done that. I mean, I think you are doing it, but I mean, I would like to think that after 4 or 5 months of that, there would be some, I don't have any doubt that you're working, but when I wanted you to do a wage assignment, I forgot that, and you have done that, but it seems like you have, but at the same time, you know, it's not just doing it. It's doing it to where some of that money's going to your child support, which is not happening. Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, are you doing the best you can? In which case, you know, it's not right for me to, you know, throw you in jail for doing the best you can. But are you, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you know, so I have to decide if you're doing the best you can or if you're just not doing it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
All these questions. I'm not trying to be, you know, all up in your business or anything. I'm trying to.
No, that's fine.
I'm trying to figure out whether, you know, you're giving it a good old level try here or whether you're, you know, yanking everybody's chain.
No, I'm not, it's not like that. I'm doing the best I can do. I mean, with other people helping me out.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Mr. London?
No.
I don't have any more, Judge.
All right. I guess, Mr. Berry, do you have an argument you want to make?
Well, nothing more than what the court was just hitting on there at the end about Mr. London doing what he can do to pay something as he's been going along here without managing to get himself or get his diversion completed. We would just ask the court to set it off another 4 months and see how this voc rehab thing keeps going, and if it ends up landing him in a permanent job where he'd be making a pretty regular check every week, something that a wage assignment could attach to, and start seeing some results from that. That would just be my only argument, Judge, is one more shot at this thing to see if
yeah, I understand. Yes, sir. Ms. Carter?
Your Honor, since the inception of this case, you know, through bond, I don't know how many motions we've been here. It's the same thing. I've made this argument before, and I feel like each time we get closer to a court date, Mr. London does just enough to make us believe that this time is going to be different and he's going to continually make the payments as have been ordered. And it never happens that way. We leave court just like last time. His last payment was in November. We haven't seen a payment since then. He's talking about a payment he just sent by mail, you know, a few days ago, he said, and a wage assignment that has not been entered. I just feel like we're continuously going to be in this cycle of making sure that Mr. London is trying, but he's tried multiple times and he's been given multiple opportunities. We've just never gotten to the point where he needs to be, where he's making regular payments to the child support office for both his current support and his arrears. And since this has been going on, I don't have very much faith that it's going to happen. I think we've given him multiple opportunities to get it together, and it's just not happening. So I would just ask that he be revoked.
Yeah, Mr. London, here's the deal. All right. I have some, you know, some sympathy for the situation that you find yourself in and that you're putting your attorney in, because, you know, you're kind of, every time this happens, you're forcing him to make the same argument over and over again, which is that, you know, you're trying, right? And I think you're trying. I'm not sure you're trying as much as you can, because the record for 3 years or 2 years is going to show, as Ms. Gardner pointed out, that when we, you know, have a hearing date come up, that's when you start cooperating. And then, you know, if things go, if you got 6 months between hearing dates, you don't do anything for 5 of them. And then all of a sudden you know, send in a couple $25 payments or something like that as it gets close. And you know, it may just be a coincidence that that's what's happened the last 2.5 years or whatever it's been. But you know, I'm willing to buy a coincidence every now and then, but not every damn time. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do think that most of what, I mean, obviously the child support, you know, you're not paying like you're supposed to and all that. We talked about that, but the things that I told you to do as far as trying to improve your opportunities to get a job and staying in contact with the child support office, not having, 4 months later, them say, well, we hadn't heard from him. I mean, that's not happening, right? At least you're in contact with him. You reached out to him. You are doing your voc rehab. I'm not prepared to just completely give up on the idea here right now that you're not going to find some benefit out of this voc rehab and get yourself a regular job. But now listen, if I say that we're going to look at this again in 3 or 4 months, or well, I'm not going to go 4 months this time, but 2 or 3 months, and you don't have a job by then, I'm going to start to worry, because nobody's ever told me, you're disabled, you draw SSI, you draw Social Security disability. Nobody's ever told me any of those things, right? So I think after 6 to 7 months of being in voc rehab, you ought to be able to find some kind of job. It doesn't have to be the greatest job in the world. It has to be something that you're doing and you're pulling in money, and some of the money is going to your child support. All right. And I'm not going to I don't think I'm going to be willing to take the same approach in 3 months if you still don't have a regular job, or if I find out that, 10 minutes after the hearing, he went up there and quit at Scott or Waste Management or whatever it's called, Scott Waste or whatever it is. And, then 2 or 3 days before the next hearing, he got another job, because that'll be a bridge too far for old Judge to go. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That'll be one coincidence too many for me.
Yeah.
Follow me?
Yeah, I follow you. Yeah.
I mean, I want you to keep doing what you're doing to try to get yourself a regular job. I mean, I think those guys that are working with you don't want to just spin their wheels. I mean, I have to feel like they're trying to help you. So, I think by May you ought to have something, and there ought to be some money coming in on a regular basis. All right.
I should. Yeah.
And here's the thing too. I mean, if I void your pretrial diversion, then you're a convicted felon. All right. So if I don't want to just do that. Normally the step is, well, you're on pretrial diversion. You can void that pretrial diversion. If people keep screwing up, then maybe try probation. If they keep screwing up, you put them in jail. All right. I'm not going to do that with you, because the whole key here is for you to not be a convicted felon, because that closes the door on a bunch of your jobs. Right. If I get to the point that I got to void your pretrial diversion, I'm going to skip all that probation and all that stuff in between. And if you can't make it on pretrial diversion, then, and that does get voided, then you're going to be looking at going to jail. You understand me?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to just scare you or anything. I'm just telling you how it is, because I want you to understand this isn't going to be just a baby step process. We baby step the heck out of this thing. And I mean, it's time for everybody to put on their big boy pants and grown-ups here. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I understand it.
All right. So I'm going to put you on for May the 11th. At 1:30, you need to stay in contact with your attorney's office. You need to stay in contact with your probation office.
Okay.
You need to keep doing what you have been doing that I ordered you to do back in October, with the only exception being that you need to do better on paying.
How often do I need to keep contact with a child support office?
Well, I mean, whenever you got something to tell them. Like here's where I'm working. Here's my wage, here's my information for a wage assignment.
Well, if I change jobs or something, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I got another question I need to ask.
Or, ma'am, I've got some money. I want to send it in a wage assignment. And, I want to find out that you got it. I want to check on it, whatever. Yeah. I mean, you need to, I don't want all this, everybody coming in and you springing all this stuff on us after 3 months of not talking to anybody.
Yeah.
All right. What's your question?
We're in a pandemic right now. So what if something happens and I have to be quarantined or I get COVID? Do I need to contact the child support office over that, or if I can't?
Yeah, you should let everybody know that you think would care about knowing that information. All right. Your attorney's office, your probation office, child support office, your voc rehab people, you know, if you're going to miss an appointment or something like that, you need to let them know what's going on.
Okay, it's just something I've thought of, and I thought of asking because, you know, that's the only way to find out is asked, you know.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just, you know, just use your kind of your common sense here about who you need to get in touch with and what you need to tell them.
Yeah, okay.
All
And
right.
Judge, for purposes of my motion, is it denied or just continued generally?
I'm just passing it to May the 11th.
Okay.
To see where he is, kind of on the same
Okay.
as we did this one.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Judge, can we call Jesse Turner?
All right, Mr. London. Let's kick it up a notch, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Sure will. Thank you.
Jesse Turner.
Judge, you're ready to have a hearing. I've got Detective Bo to testify.
All right. Detective Bo, you on here? There you are. Do you swear or affirm that your testimony will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Can you state your name for the record?
Adam Bowe.
You work for the Sheriff's Department?
Yes, sir.
Did you arrest a Jesse Turner on January the 15th of 2021?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the court what led to that arrest?
I had received information that Mr. Turner hadn't changed his address on the sex offender registry after he had got out of jail. I was able to make contact with Mr. Turner at Hidden Lake Apartments, where he was wearing an ankle monitor to that address. And he had not contacted his probation officer. I spoke with spoke with the person over the sex offender registry with probation and parole, and he had not received any contact, nor had there been any paperwork completed to change his address from an address in Tompkinsville to Hidden Lake Apartments.
Okay. That's all the questions I had, Judge.
All right. Mr. Berry is.
It's my case, Judge.
Go ahead.
When did this was January 15th that you contact with him?
Yes, sir.
When did he get out of jail? Do you know?
January the 6th.
And do you know, had he spoken to his probation officer at all since getting out of jail?
No, sir.
Okay, I've lost Detective Bo here. Are you still on?
No, you're not the only one.
You still on here somewhere, Detective Bo?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, he gone. He's back in the waiting room, so let's see if he's.
Okay. He's probably calling back in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. What was your question again, sir?
I think this was it. He had he talked to his probation officer since he got out of jail up until January 15th.
I spoke with the person who's over the sex offender registry. I'm not sure that he has a probation officer, but he had not contacted Brian Hogan is who I spoke with he's over the sex offender registry, and he had not spoken to him.
Okay. Now he was on an ankle monitor, so you knew where he was, correct?
I discovered he was on an ankle monitor when I located him. I didn't know he was prior to.
Oh, okay. And as far as you know, the ankle monitor was functioning and all. It was.
As far as I know, it's my understanding that the ankle monitor was part of a condition of release from a Monroe County case.
Right.
That is
And
correct.
I didn't follow up with that.
Right. Did What was the last address that the sex offender registry had on him?
3247, and I'm not sure how you say it. EBENCER.
Ebenezer.
Ebenezer Road, Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Okay. Okay, 3247 Ebenezer Road, Tompkinsville, Kentucky. Who called you to start with to say that, did the sex offender registry get in touch with you about not being in touch with him or what?
No, sir. I was notified by Mike Richardson.
Oh, okay. So they didn't know. Okay. All right. Okay. I think that's all I'd have for Detective Bo, Judge.
All right, redirect.
That's all. I don't have any more questions, Judge.
All right, Mr. Berry, do you want to put on anything or just argument?
I just argue, Judge.
All right.
This is a little bit different from your standard failure to register an address case. That Jesse's walking around with an ankle monitor on. That there was no way he was hiding where he was from anybody. I would assume, I guess, pretrial over in Monroe County was monitoring where he was since he was out on bond.
I was monitoring him.
Okay, so yeah, his address was obvious to everybody. He wasn't hiding or anything like that. It was just a failure to call him and say, hey, I'm living over here at this address. He's been in jail, I guess, since January 15th, going on a month now over this. And I hate to say it, Judge, it's kind of exalting form over substance to say he was, failure to advise of where he was living. He was on an ankle monitor. Everybody knew where he was. So I'd ask the court to give him a sanction for this, allow him back out on his on the ankle monitor again and on his bond over here, and not revoke him. With the direction that within a day he contacts or calls the sex offender registry and lets them know his address.
Judge, may I?
What?
When he reported to pretrial, but he reported to pretrial that he was living at Hollow Road. I spoke with him personally. And part of his Monroe bond condition, which I know is not under being looked at right now, but he was not to be residing with his co-defendant, and that address he was picked up at is the address she provided to pretrial. And the ankle monitor was being monitored through the ankle monitor people of Monroe County pretrial. The only reason I would know anything that if he wasn't doing what he was supposed to is if they reported it to pretrial and that person had my phone number.
Judge, I don't know what pretrial's jumping into the middle of this. There's not.
No, I'm not, I understand what she's saying, but I don't think we can have testimony from.
Can I say one thing, Judge?
Hold on, Judge. Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, everybody stop for a minute. Good Lord. Mr. Berry and Mr. Turner need to decide together whether Mr. Turner's going to say anything, but if he says anything, Mr. Turner, it's going to be under oath and on the record. Mr. Richardson, you can reply to what's been said.
I guess what I should have did, Judge, was subpoena. A lot of this started because there was a report to social services that he was living at that Hollow Road address with a minor in the residence, which led to all that. I didn't subpoena the social worker because I did their initial report because I didn't think it was necessary, but now I'm thinking I probably should have to kind of give some background as to what Whitney was talking about. That's all I want to say about it. And I could call a social worker if you wanted me to continue, if you wanted additional testimony, but I didn't know if you wanted to do that or not, or if it would help in the decision.
Well, I don't, I mean, I hadn't ordered him, I don't think, to not be around any particular individual other than whoever the victim or victims might have been in the case. But I'm going to tell you where, my problem with the whole thing is that, it may be that somebody knew where he was by virtue of this ankle monitor. What is important is whether the sex offender registry knew where he was, because that's what the law requires, is that he has an accurate and updated address with the sex offender registry. If he is a person in the category of individuals that have to maintain a regular address with the sex offender registry. Now, he may or may not have, told one judge one thing and one pretrial officer something else and all that. I don't know anything about all that. I don't know, whether or not anything is going to be done about that in Monroe County, but I mean, that's up to them, and they don't have to get my permission to do things, and I don't have to get theirs to do things. So I don't know what's going to happen, if anything. But in this case, Mr. Turner is on bond, was on bond with the condition not to have any violations of the law and, new arrests, which is kind of a normal condition that we give people. This is a new arrest, and it's a at least probable cause that it's a violation of the law. Now, listen, I agree with Mr. Berry. It doesn't appear that he was, it's not like he was running off to Mexico or the Bahamas or something like that. I mean, he had an ankle monitor on, and at least somebody knew where he was, but that's not the point of the sex offender registry. Is just that somebody somewhere knows where you are. It's that the people that run that registry know where you are. And if anybody goes and looks an address or whatever, they know that somebody is there that's on the registry. And that's what apparently did not happen. Be that as it may, this is what I think is appropriate under the circumstances, as I usually believe it's appropriate when we have violations of bond conditions. I think it's appropriate to grant the motion of the Commonwealth, and at least for the foreseeable future, to hold Mr. Turner, see what, if anything, is going to happen as a result of that. Maybe nothing. This gives him a chance to also discuss things with his attorney if there's anything that they need to discuss. We'll put it on for a pretrial in about 3 weeks, and we'll talk about this all over again like we usually do. But I think, again, it doesn't, that's a law, and it's there for a reason. And if you violate it, then it's a violation of a law, and that's a bond violation. So while I agree to a certain point that it's not as egregious as other bond violations that all of us have seen, it's still a felony level offense, and that's a decision that's been made by the people that make those rules, that if you're supposed to be on the registry and you don't comply, you're guilty of a felony. And so, that's the framework that I have to look at it with. Okay. So for the time being, I'm going to grant this motion. We'll put it on for a pretrial conference on March the 1st at 1:00. And, at that time, we'll discuss and see, what we're going to do moving forward. Okay.
Yeah, but could I say something real quick? It ain't nothing bad or anything.
What would you like to say, subject to me telling you to quit talking?
Well, I was gonna say, for the simple fact I didn't even have time to do any of that. I was only out like 8 days, and they done rushed me before I even got anything done. I mean, I don't even think that's fair to me, man. And
well, the statute gives you 5. Okay. So again, I mean, I don't make those rules, that's what the rule is. And by definition, they're going to expect the people that make those rules that if you move and you're subject to the registry, you'll take care of it within 5 days.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't on no probation or nothing like that. I didn't have no probation officer or anything like
I
that.
understand. I mean, I know all these things that you're saying, and I understand why you're telling me, but I already know those things. And it, that's not relevant to the charge.
Mm,
Okay?
yeah, because I know that was supposed to be removed off of it.
I don't know about that either, other than that you're not off of it. So that's all I got to work with.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Judge, can you release Detective Bo from his subpoena?
Yeah, if Detective Bo has nothing else, he can go.
Your Honor, I'd like to call Andrew Connors. Jason Hall is a probation parole officer, and he's in Eastern Kentucky. I think he's on a cell phone, so we're going to attempt to see if he's going to be able to testify.
Yeah, I see him right there. Officer Hall.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you raise your right hand? Do you
Your Honor,
swear? Hello?
I apologize, Your Honor. I'm apparently been appointed for Mr. Connor's case. I had reached out to Mr. Gardner today due to an error on my part. I didn't realize that I had been assigned to him. So I was going to move the court for a continuance of the revocation hearing as I've not had an opportunity to meet with Mr. Connor as of yet.
Okay, Mr. Gardner, you want to speak to that?
Your Honor, Mr. Hall's here. If we could take his testimony, I'm fine with continuing the rest of the part of the hearing. But unless Mr. Hall, can be available the next date.
Well, let me tell you what we'll do. And I think this will end up being beneficial to everybody anyway. Let me go ahead and just let him put his evidence on the record. And then if we pass the hearing 2 weeks, we can still try to have him come back if he's available. If he's not, then I've got his evidence on the record. He'll be subject to cross-examination today. And then if he's able to get back at the next hearing, if we have one, he can get on for that too. But then that everybody, is okay with that because it gives Ms. Myers the opportunity to still talk to Mr. Connors with the added benefit of knowing what the officer is going to testify to. Okay? So if you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that your testimony will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead, please.
Officer Hall, will you state your name for the record?
I'm Jason Hall. I work
Did you work for probation and parole?
I do. I work out of the Moorhead office.
Okay. Were you supervising an Andrew Connors?
I was.
And why were you supervising him?
Mr. Connors had been admitted to the Moorhead Inspiration Center for substance abuse treatment. It's an inpatient facility. He spent about 79 days at their facility and was discharged from the facility on November 17th after he left on his own accord. On November 18th, Mr. Connors called me and advised that he'd been discharged from the program. Stated he wanted to get back into treatment, wanted to maintain contact. So due to COVID, I spoke with him, got an address. I tried to transfer him back out to Western Kentucky where he said he resided. And was going to refer him back to a social service clinician. However, on November 30th, I received a notification that his transfer was rejected because he no longer resided at the residence that he provided me. And then I tried multiple times to make contact with him. Also on November 30th, I called the home placement who he listed on his transfer, and he told me that it was a will. He said that Andrew had been gone for a few days and provided me a telephone number to reach him through a mutual friend of theirs. And I called her, and she stated that she'd been roaming around Glasgow trying to find Andrew, said that he was living in the streets at that time. This was right around Thanksgiving. And she said that she had took him home to get him cleaned up, get him something to eat. And she said she left for a few minutes, came back, and he was gone. And then at that point, I had no further contact with anybody involving Mr. Connors.
And you say that he was discharged from the treatment facility. You know why he was discharged?
He left on his own accord. I'm not sure why he left. I believe I don't have access to my computer. They took it to work on it today. But I think the discharge summary just said that he opted to leave on his own accord.
Okay. So it wasn't like it was a rules violation. He just decided to leave.
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay. And you haven't had any contact with him since, you said mid-November?
It was November 18th was the last contact I actually had with Mr. Connors.
And there's not been any reported contact between him or probation and parole in any capacity since then?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't have my computer to look at the notes to see if he's made contact with him out there.
What about where I contacted Somerset Probation and Parole?
Wait, hold on, Mr. Connors. Let's.
All right, my bad. Okay.
Mr. Officer Hall, would you repeat your answer, please?
To the best of my knowledge, I don't know. I don't have my computer in front of me today. They took it to fix it, so I'm kind of working off my violation report, and I don't have access to all the notes and everything in the
Thank you very much. I have no further questions of Officer Hall.
Well, but I'm going to turn you over for cross-examination, but before I do, just to jump in there, since he brought it up, are you testifying that at least from your memory, you're not aware that he contacted any other probation officer in Somerset or anywhere else?
To the best of my knowledge, I do not know if he's contacted anybody from Somerset. I received, like I said, on November 30th, Somerset rejected the officer I transferred him to rejected the transfer because he was no longer residing at that residence. So if he called anybody after that time, I'm not aware of it.
Okay, so Somerset was where you had attempted to transfer him to.
I believe so. Like I said, I'm working off knowledge or trying to remember. I know I transferred him back out that direction.
Understand. All right. Ms. Myers, do you want to cross-examine?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Hall, you had indicated that Mr. Connors had left the program in Moorhead. How long is that program?
It's a 6 to 9 month program. It's a Kentucky recovery program.
Okay. Was that a program he was placed in as a result of a SSC evaluation through probation and parole?
I assume. I'm not aware of what happened prior to him coming to the Moorhead Inspiration Center. As the only reason I had him down here was because he was in that facility.
When did you actually become his probation parole officer?
I was actually covering for another officer who was out on medical leave, but I did review everything with Mr. Connors on August 31st of 2020.
What month was that?
August.
Okay.
The 31st was when he was admitted to the program.
Were you meeting with Mr. Connors monthly while he was there in the program?
We were doing Zoom meetings on the computer with all the residents at the facility.
Okay. And again, there was no reported rule violation while he was at the facility, correct?
If my memory serves me correctly, I think he just opted to leave on his own. I don't think there was any, I don't recall any rule violations.
When he contacted you on November 18th, did you request that he submit for any drug screens?
I did not. I advised Mr. because I think if I remember correctly, he said that he was already headed back to the area where he was transferred to Moorhead, back to where he resided prior to coming here. So I advised him that I would transfer him back to that area, and I would send a violation report to the court and let them know that we were going to request to send him back to another SSC for a substance abuse evaluation, again, due to COVID restrictions and trying to help further his recovery.
Was he court ordered to attend a 6 to 9 month program?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Again, I'm not sure. He was transferred to the Moorhead office from a previous district. I don't have my computer in front of me to look back through the notes. It crashed on me this morning at about 9 o'clock. They were supposed to have it for a couple hours, and here we are, 4 o'clock Eastern time, and I still don't have it back.
You'll agree with me that Probation and Pro has a centralized computer where they keep notes anytime, or they're supposed to keep notes anytime a client that they're assisting calls in or contacts, correct? Okay, so if you have notes, or if notes have been put in since November of Mr. Connors contacting any other probation and parole office, those should be entered into the computer, correct?
They should be, but I don't have access to my computer today.
Do you have the ability to supplement your testimony today with those notes once you receive your computer back?
I mean, I can.
Or if I may jump in here, I was going to plan on calling Jason Alexander, the local probation and parole officer, after Mr. Hall, if we wanted to do that, if we wanted to wait till the next court hearing to supplement about this exact issue.
Yeah, I will. I mean, I'm going to leave that up to Ms. Myers as to how she wants to approach that. I mean, if she wants to ask him to look at his computer when he gets his computer, since we're going to since we're going to postpone the hearing anyway, I'm not going to object to that. But I will, let me just make this observation. I don't know, as far as I know, you usually get to these RKCs when you go through, some state entity, whether it's probation and parole or a drug court or something like that. I don't have any recollection that we, in this case, sent him to rehab. He entered a plea in February of 2019. We ordered that he was going to be assessed by the SSC, and that's the last thing that I ever heard from him until I got the report that he had left treatment some 20 months later. So I don't know what happened down there, or whether that original assessment, that assessment couldn't have been what put him into rehab, because that was 20 months ago.
He was on 3 different counties. He had Barron, Metcalf, and Hart. I've been helping cover this caseload along with mine. This violation report kind of got lost in the shuffle between the end of November and when it got to you.
Right. So he may have been sent there through Hart Circuit. Hold on. All right. Ms. Myers, do you want to ask any other, or well, you were kind of asking him a question and then we got to talking. So if you want to go back to that, it's fine.
Well, it actually prompted another question based on some of his answers, Your Honor.
Okay, that's fine.
You had mentioned that RKC may have been ordered or recommended out of the Hart or Metcalf County cases, but you'll agree with me that he came off of supervised probation in June of 2019 on those cases, correct?
It does look like, according to the paperwork, it does look like it may have been off of there at that point in time.
So you'll also agree with me then he's able to successfully complete probation based upon the fact that he had completed probation successfully in both Metcalf and Hart, correct?
Again, I'm unsure. I don't know if there was an extension out there in Metcalf or Hart. Whenever I can look at my stuff, I will let you know further. I mean, I will come back for the next hearing as well if we need to.
Do you believe that Mr. Connors is a threat to the community?
No, Mr. Connors made contact with me and indicated that he did want to return to treatment. But then between the time I talked to Mr. Connors on the 18th of November and the 30th of November, Mr. Connors failed to maintain contact with probation and parole, and his whereabouts became unknown during that time period.
You talked about some contact that you had had with a friend of his who kind of implied that he had actually become homeless, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you'll agree with me, sometimes when people become homeless, they can't necessarily afford cell phones to be able to keep in contact with probation and parole, right?
Correct.
So the fact that he wasn't able to keep in contact with you may very well have been as a result of his poverty, correct?
Correct, but there's an office in almost every Kentucky county.
And you'll agree with me, if he did in fact contact the Somerset community or Somerset Probation and Parole Office, then that would be further evidence of his continuing to comply or at least let himself follow through with his supervision and attempt to do that if he was homeless and without a phone, right?
Yes, if he tried to make contact with him, then, I mean, he would have been trying.
You know of no danger he actually presents to the community at this point, right?
I don't know his personal history. I don't know. I mean, as far as the only violation I really have was that he failed to maintain contact with me and that he failed to complete treatment.
Did you request that he be drug screened upon his arrest?
It does not appear according to my violation report that I did. Let me look here. It doesn't look like I requested that on my violation report.
So again, you're unaware of whether or not he's continuing to use substances, illegal substances, correct?
I don't know. I haven't had contact with him to know.
And you're unaware of any new felony arrest, correct?
Once I submitted the violation report, I transferred him back to the area where he was probated from, and I have not looked back through his case until recently, whenever I learned that we were having this hearing.
Okay, thank you. That's all the questions I have right now.
All right, Mr. Gardner, anything of this witness?
No, not of this witness, Your Honor.
All right, so Officer Hall, if we reconvene this hearing, it's going to be 2 weeks from today at 1:30. So if you're, conceivably, if you're able to log into that, it might help, but, I don't know. You might contact the Commonwealth before then,
I should be available.
All right.
I don't see anything right now.
All right, good deal. I don't see any reason to put on, any additional testimony if we're gonna have to come back unless somebody is.
Yeah, I was going to speak to that, Your Honor. As far as, it looks like on 8/18, Mr. Connors requested long-term treatment because he had relapsed on meth. And so I think we need to look at that and determine whether that was going to be a violation then of his probation because of leaving the treatment.
Oh, okay. Are you saying, is there a violation of supervision report in the, because there's not one in the court file, but that doesn't mean one wasn't filed and we didn't all get it back then. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm just talking about, this is a text message I've got from Officer McCorkle that states their system shows that on 8/18, he requested long-term treatment because he'd relapsed on meth. And I guess that's how he ends up in Moorhead.
Yeah, and it would not be uncommon if somebody wanted to go to treatment and asked to get we would assess them, and you might not ever file a motion and, do a court order because the original terms of probation would be to comply with any SSC recommendations. And so if somebody voluntarily requests that. And then that's where, what it leads to, it's already in their probation that they have to comply with the recommendation. So, I was just trying to figure out how they got there. And, it seemed like to me that, that is a possibility. Certainly he had a case in Metcalfe County, but I knew I didn't send him in that case either because I'm the judge on that, in Metcalfe County as well. So Hart County was the first option that I thought of, but
I personally drove him down there myself from Hart County. I personally took him down there, me and another officer from Hart County to Somerset Treatment Center.
To Somerset.
That's where he started out at. Then he moved on to Moorhead. This is about his third time at treatment.
Oh, he went to Somerset first and then Moorhead. I didn't know that.
He went to a treatment center in Somerset, and then he ended up.
Yeah. We're going to get into this
Here's
next
what I
time anyway.
propose. We're going to come back in a couple of weeks if we're going to do testimony, and if we could have him assessed by the SSC in the meantime to see if treatment is still possible to finish up, I would recommend that we do that.
Ms. Myers, do you have any objection to going ahead and assessing him in that period?
Well, Your Honor, if you don't mind, I'd like to have Bethany assess him. I probably would have done that prior to today, but I apologize. It just slipped through and I didn't realize that one had been assigned to me. So that is on me. Otherwise, I would have already had her assess him prior to today. I'm planning on to the next 2 weeks if the court would give me the opportunity to have her submit him for assessment.
I understand. Is there any issue there, Mr. Gardner?
No.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. I agree that, the report that we have from Moorhead that Officer Hall referred to is in the file, and it says that he stayed 79 days, left of his own accord. By testimony, he contacted his officer the next day or that day even and said, I really need some help. So, I'm not going to worry too much about why he left if he's seeking to better his situation. I will try to cooperate. Okay. In the meantime, we're going to pass it 2 weeks. And all I would ask is if we don't need Officer Hall, if y'all reach out to him and tell him so he doesn't zoom in for nothing. Okay.
Hopefully next time I'm more prepared with my computer. I expected to have it back prior to
Hopefully,
this.
hopefully they can get it fixed in 2 hours, but they can get it fixed in 2 weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right. Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
You too. Yeah, 23rd. Yeah, guys.
Can we call?
No, I've got a note that I have a phone call that I have to take. So
Okay. Can I check and see if someone is on here?
Yeah, you can. I'm fixing to mute myself and y'all can talk about.
Okay. Is there a detective, and I'm probably butchering this name, Nazarovich, on here?